Welcome to Return to Athens. This week, things are starting to be back on track. Pool superstar Ian Thorpe jumps the gun. And more in our series of qualifying events. All that and more as we return to Athens. Firstly, International Olympic Committee Inspection Chief Dennis Oswald made comment that recent decisions by the newly installed government to cancel or scale back on Olympic works projects has helped to increase progress on vital games preparations. As part of the latest review by the IOC, Oswald held meetings with newly elected government ministers to discuss the latest developments made to the preparation schedule. With time a continuous concern for the IOC, the visit came after a previous inspection by the committee when IOC officials gave the government a 2-week deadline to make tough decisions on preparations.
We have a very clear picture, what is feasible, what is at risk. We have a very clear timetable, and I think we can work on a very safe basis. We have the feeling that the government has taken already a number of decisions, which is helping the project to move forward, and we are confident that everything is still possible. And if it's worked at the same rhythm in the next months, I think everything will be finished on time.
The new Minister for Culture reiterating Oswald's comments.
We have sped up the pace of construction along with other preparations, and essentially we are hoping to turn night into day.
Since the Conservative government came to power on March 7, new ministers have criticised the former government's handling of Olympic preparations. Plans to build a roof over the Olympic swimming pool abandoned, causing the sport's governing body to react angrily. Steps are already afoot to alter the schedule to avoid the heat of the day. Major concern has centred on the roof of the main Olympic stadium, where the opening and closing ceremonies take place. Construction of the roof has been a headache for the International Olympic Committee, who has several times suggested that the project be cancelled for fear it would not be completed on time. Project builders now say the roof will not be finished until July 20, less than a month before the Games begin, raising issues over security planning and rehearsals for the ceremonies, while construction is still taking place. Government officials condemned delays and expressed concern over crucial train and tram projects linking the city centre to the suburbs, saying they were scaling back on the renovation of part of a train line linking the centre to the southern Olympic venues. The new government also criticised work on the renovation of the Marathon Road, a 42-kilometre stretch from the village of Marathon to Athens that stages the famous race. Initial contractors building the road replaced after filing for bankruptcy. Environment Minister George Souflias said some landscaping would have to be scrapped on the project. IOC President Jacques Grogger has said, although tight, there is still time for all essential preparations to be completed, and welcomed the decision of the new Prime Minister to personally take on the ministry responsible for the Games works. The world is beginning to catch Olympic fever, and the residents of Rio de Janeiro inaugurated their Olympic torch clock at the city's Copacabana beach. The countdown began the day the Olympic flame was lit. The clock, an enormous replica of the Olympic torch, is 14 metres high. The Olympic flame will arrive in Rio on June 13th. It will pass through the famous city before travelling on to Mexico City and the United States. Brazilian gymnast Danielle Hippolyto said the Olympic Games provided a wonderful opportunity to unite the world in peace.
The Games will serve to bring peace back to this world, and I believe that the Games will unite the entire world, because at the end of the day, I think the world needs peace. It's not just a city, it's an entire world.
This will be the first time the Olympic torch will travel through all 5 continents. Rio de Janeiro chosen by the organising committee to represent South America, and its arrival adding impetus to Rio's campaign to host the 2012 Games. The flame commences its first journey around the globe in Sydney on June 4th, before heading to Melbourne and on to Tokyo, Seoul, Beijing and Cairo for the first time on the African continent, then to Cape Town and Rio, along with every Olympic city. The flame that will burn at the 25th staging of the modern Olympic Games was lit at a temple in ancient Olympia, with 141 days to go until the opening ceremony. At a temple dedicated to the Greek goddess Hera, 24 actors led by Thalia Prokopiou prayed to Apollo for the sun to shine and provide the flame that has been the hallmark of the modern Olympics. Prokopiou duly lit the flame by placing a silver torch into a concave steel mirror, which concentrated the sun's radiation. Greek javelin champion Kostas Gatsioudis was selected as the first torchbearer in the global relay that will take the flame to the 5 continents depicted on the Olympic flag for the first time. In total, over 11,000 people will carry the torch on its journey around the world, finally returning to Greece for the opening ceremony after a journey of over 78,000 kilometres. It's hoped that the flame will mark a turning point in preparations for the Games, which have been dogged by delays and cancellations, most notably the scrapping of a roof for the swimming pool and an extension of the railway system for the capital. Several Olympic medalists will take part in bearing the torch on its travels, including Ukrainian pole vault legend Sergei Bubka and Russian swimmer Alexander Popov, who was the second person to receive the flame. The 32-year-old won 2 gold medals at the 1992 Olympics, 2 more in Atlanta in '96 and a silver in 2000. It's a scene which has already been replayed many times in Australian television news bulletins. On the opening day of the Australian Olympic trials, Ian Thorpe lined up in the heat of the 400 metres freestyle, an event in which he is the Olympic champion. Inexplicably, he overbalanced and fell into the water before the starting gun and was disqualified because of a rule stating that only 1 start is allowed.
Having read the protest document, the response of the referee, and having interviewed the referee, the competitor and the team manager, the jury determined that it would also view the host broadcast a video of the incident. Having done this, it is our determination that the referee's decision is correct, and as a determination of fact, the protest is dismissed. So Ian's disqualification stands.
Olympic 1500-metre freestyle champion Grant Hackett, who won the 400, could not hide his shock.
I came on the other side of the pool and was actually walking across the lane, and he sort of just fell in, and I just sort of just shocked. I was just like, oh my God, it's a 1-start rule, he's out.
Under Australia's rules, swimmers must finish first or second in the trials to qualify for team selection.
At this stage, he's not in the event, and it's a real shock, and it's a cutthroat criteria that Australian swimming have provided for the athletes. You know, I'm not upset with that, but I'm upset that it's not a 2-start rule for, you know, those sort of situations. You can get up on the block, be a little bit dizzy, not feel quite right, be, you know, not sturdy on your feet, and, you know, you can move a little bit and be disqualified and miss out on an Olympic year. It's horrific.
But for all you swim fans, all is not lost. Ian Thorpe will still swim in Athens after making the team in the 200 and 100 metres. Thorpe's exclusion in the 400 metres has meant that our medal predictor now selects Grant Hackett for the gold. The battle for the silver medal should see American Larson Jensen just beat home another Australian, Craig Stevens, who'll take the bronze. More on lead-up events, and day 6 of the qualification tournament saw 3 of the 5 places for Athens decided, Japan needing a win over South Korea to secure one of them. The Koreans, one of the favourites, did not live up to their expectations and found themselves quickly 2 down against a team ranked number 11 in the world. In an upset, Japan taking a 4-0 win and second place behind Spain in Group B. It's the first time the Japanese women have qualified for the Olympics. Later we'll have the Koreans' sudden death playoff match against Great Britain.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, a fantastic 4-0.
The other Group B game put the US up against Spain, who'd already qualified with 3 victories, and unexpectedly the Americans took a 2-0 lead in the first half. They added a third following an amazing run from Tracy Larson, who weaved her way through 4 Spanish defenders before releasing Kate Barber. April Fronzoni completing the run, the US now required to defeat Ireland to stay alive. Germany and New Zealand were vying for top spot in Group A. 34 minutes in, the Germans took the lead against the hosts through veteran campaigner Heike Lutsch. New Zealand got their equaliser 20 minutes later in controversial circumstances. A free hit close to goal found its way into the net via the stick of Lisa Walton, and despite the protests of several German players convinced they'd seen an infringement, the goal stood. As the clock ticked, it became clear to both sides that a draw was good enough for qualification, and as the siren sounded, the celebrations began. Great Britain, another fancied team at the beginning of this event, beat Ireland by 2-0 to enter the playoffs. The British team next face South Korea, with the loser going home empty-handed. Few would have predicted that outcome. The unrestrained sport of hockey will be held at the Olympic Hockey Centre within the Helonico Olympic Complex. The competition held over 14 days from the 14th to the 27th of August. Ticket prices for a hockey match vary between just €10 and €60. Day 7 was sudden death day at the Olympic qualification event in Auckland, New Zealand, as the 5th and final ticket to Athens was up for grabs between 4 teams. South Korea up against Great Britain in a battle between 2 of the pre-tournament favourites. But as soon as Korea opened the scoring, there was really only 1 team in it. Korea adding a second 10 minutes later. For all their huff and puff, Great Britain could find no reply, and the match ended 2-0. Hopes of a medal in Greece had evaporated completely, and there were more than a few tears on the pitch.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen,
The Koreans were hardly celebrating themselves, as they still had to beat the winner of the United States and Ireland to make the trip to the Olympics. A goalless first half reflected the defensive strength of both sides, but less than 2 minutes after the resumption, Kate Barber produced the opening goal for the USA. However, 8 minutes later, the Irish were level. The American defenders baffled, Aimar Cregan bumped home to make it 1-1. Lindsay McVicker might have stolen it for the Irish with seconds to go, but for a last-ditch save from Margaret Storer, and the game moved into golden goal extra time. With under 3 minutes remaining, Tracy Fuchs popped up to score the winner. The Americans went on to face South Korea for the final spot. However, all this celebration for naught as the Koreans defeated the US 4-0. All the attention on the sudden death matches rather put the overall tournament semi-finals in the shade. Spain booked their place in the final with a 1-0 win over host New Zealand. The Spaniards took on Japan in the gold medal match following their 3-0 dismissal of Germany. The outstanding player, Sake Morimori, who scored 2 goals in her side's 4-0 thrashing of South Korea, opened the scoring after only 10 minutes and then made it 2-0 12 minutes into the second half. Japan, along with Spain, New Zealand, South Korea and Germany, all qualifying for the Athens Games. Those 5 join Argentina, Australia, China, the Netherlands and South Africa in the 10-team competition. The medal predictions for women's hockey are for the Netherlands to take the gold in a classic Olympic showdown with the Australians. Our medal predictor sees Japan taking on New Zealand in the bronze medal match, and in an upset, Japan the win. We continue our series of countries in profile today, and first up, it's a look at the powerhouse of Asia, China. One of many sports the Chinese excel at is diving. In Sydney, they won 9 medals, 5 of them gold. Led by the diminutive Fu Mingjia, who has dominated women's diving since Barcelona, China can expect the competition to be hot as the rest of the world tries to topple the brilliance of the Chinese. Asian domination has never been as overpowering as it's been in table tennis. Out of a possible 12 medals to be won at the 2000 Games, China walked away with 8 of them. In the women's singles, it was an all-Chinese affair. Wang Nan defeated Li Ju to win the title, giving China the gold and silver medals respectively. In the women's doubles, again it was a China versus China contest. The combination of Nan and Li convincingly sweeping aside their compatriots in straight sets. In the men's, they won 4 medals. Singles taking gold and bronze, Kongning Wei became the Olympic champion after he defeated Jan Ove Waldner of Sweden in a 5-set thriller. In the doubles, again, it was a 1-2 finish for the Chinese. In Athens, the Chinese table tennis team will have a lot to live up to, but by all predictions, the rest of the world will need a lot of luck to overturn their dominance. In the sport of badminton, China have won more medals than any other country. In 2000, they made a clean sweep of the women's doubles, taking home the gold, silver and bronze medals. In the men's singles, Xi Jinping won the gold with a straight sets victory. The mixed pairing of Zhang Jun and Gao Ling won the gold medal match with a 2-set-1 victory over an Indonesian combination. And in the women's singles, a straight sets win over Denmark's Camilla Martin ensured the gold medal to Gong Ji Chao. In the pool, the Chinese athlete to watch will be 19-year-old world breaststroke champion Luo Zhuan, crowned the new Chinese princess of the pool after her efforts at last year's world titles. Don't be surprised to see her atop the podium in a few months. Our second nation in profile is Germany, currently bidding to host the 2012 Olympics in Leipzig. As a country, they've captured more than 500 medals and have the honour of having 2 of her cities host an Olympics. However, both games were filled with controversy. In 1936 at Berlin, there was the rise of Hitler and his Nazi party, while at Munich in 1972, there was the disbelief of the world's first major terrorist attack. Nevertheless, putting those controversies behind them, Athens may be a place of success for the Germans. In the pool, they have the potential to take home several gold medals. In the women's field, Hanna Stockbauer looks like becoming the new queen of German swimming. She is the defending world champion in the 400, 800 and 1500 metres freestyle and will be the one to beat this year. With great strength in the backstroke disciplines, defending world champion Ante Buchel will be swimming for glory in the 100 metres after her gold medal swim in last year's World Championships. While on the men's side, Thomas Ruppert will be the gold medal prediction in the men's 50-metre backstroke, looking to add Olympic gold to his World Championship gold. In their Olympic history, Germany have competed as a united nation and have also separated into East and West Germany. They participated as one nation from 1896 to 1964. However, between the years of 1968 to 1988, they competed against each other as East and West Germany. They again came under the one flag at Barcelona in 1992, after the removal of the Berlin Wall in '89. In men's hockey, Germany has won 2 gold medals. As West Germany, they defeated Pakistan in 1972 to win the title, as well as winning silver in 1984 and again in '88. As a united nation, they've won gold, silver and bronze. Their latest golden moment came in 1992 after they defeated Australia to be crowned Olympic champions. The German women have won 2 silver medals. In German sport, there may never be a greater athlete than tennis legend Steffi Graf. The former world #1 and multiple Grand Slam champion will always be held in high regard in the German sporting fraternity. Her Olympic success and glory came in 1988 at the Seoul Games. In the final, Steffi faced Argentine Gabriela Sabatini. In a one-sided match, it was the German who dominated with an impressive 6-3, 6-3 victory. In kayaking at the 2000 Olympics, Germany were on song. They walked away with 4 gold medals and will be looking to add more to the collection in Athens. Track and field, the 400 seems to be their best chance for a medal, with sprinter Ingo Schultz the favourite. In equestrian, Germany shone in Sydney in the dressage and teams event. As well, they also blitzed the field to win gold in the teams jumping. So watch out for Germany at any event they're in, and as August looms, remember to keep watching Return to Athens as we bring you the latest in the behind-the-scenes news and views in the lead-up to Athens 2004.